all of his stuff looked good, so probably too good because it was probably snug, but he was different in everything that he did. He locked up different. He locked up snug.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Snug Wrestling with me, your host. My name is Edgar. The heelest heel of them all is back. The HEEL916 is back again
What's
on
up?
Snug Wrestling. What's up, man?
What's going on? What's going on? Thanks for having me back, man. I appreciate everything, bro.
Hell yeah. How's everything been since we last spoke? What you been up to?
Everything's been good, man. I'm also an actor though, so I just dropped a little movie that came out on an all-black streaming service called The Influencer, though. So I'm
Say
just excited
what?
about that. And
Nah, you
yeah,
gotta
you didn't
tell
even
us
know
more
that. I
about
forgot.
that.
I never brought that up.
No,
Yeah,
no. I
yeah.
mean,
I
I knew
act
you
on the
were into
side.
it.
Yeah.
I know you had, that thing going, but I didn't know you were like actively doing it right now. So that's a pretty
Yeah.
big deal, dude. What is it
Yeah,
about? Like,
absolutely. Well, it's basically like a modern version of The Bodyguard. I played a bodyguard of an influencer, which is also my girlfriend, who ends up getting kidnapped. So I basically spend the movie with her aunt trying to get her back because I'm an ex-cop and I still have connections in the field. So I use those connections to try to save my girl at the end. And it's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of trust issues, problems with family. It's really good. A lot of action. I get beat up quite a few times, but I also am still the hero.
damn, you're out there taking bumps too in the movie.
Yeah, man. Did my own stunts and everything. Yeah, shot
That's
it out in
what's
LA.
up.
It was hella fun. Yeah. That's where the
Oh, you
wrestling experience come in. As a wrestling fan, just have taking bumps and stuff, knowing how to, take a punch. That's just from being a wrestling fan. So that part was really easy doing my own stunts.
That's crazy. And it's funny that you mentioned that because we're going to talk about that later on too, about a lot of these wrestlers that are trying to get into like more acting and doing Hollywood stuff and shit like that. So,
Right.
Hearing it from you, like, the action part and the stunt part, like that's like the fun part,
Mm-hmm.
So that's tight that you got to do stuff like that. So you were out here in the West Coast in LA doing
Yeah, I
this?
was. Yeah, like pretty much this time last year is when we shot it. Yeah, right out there in LA. I was staying at the hotel now in East LA, and we shot up in Burbank and a few other places, different locations. Yeah,
Damn,
absolutely.
that's
I was
dope,
out
man.
there for like a month.
You're gonna have to like tell us where to find it so we can watch it. When does it come
Oh, for
out?
sure.
Or
It's out now. I definitely it's on the app All Black, ALLBLK. It's a all black streaming service, but it has some great movies on there, and it's called The Influencer. And you just type that in and you'll see me. I'm on the cover and everything. And those who don't know, I'm not. And real quick, my name is Hassan Gilmer. That's my actual name. I don't shy away from my actual name, but the HEEL916 is definitely my wrestling handle that I went for like damn near 20 years. So, but yeah,
well, for sure, I'm gonna have to check that out for sure. And everyone that's watching and listening, definitely check that out. Show some love, show some support for the boy Heel. But I also got a bone to pick with you, Heel.
Okay.
Other than that, we got some issues here that we have to go over. Nia Jax won the Queen of the Ring, and I'm gonna put that on you. This is your fault, okay? Because you're probably the only person or the only wrestling fan that wanted this to happen. I don't think anyone else was like expecting it to happen. I know I didn't want it. I didn't think the WWE would actually go through with that. But when they did it, when I saw it happen, the first thing that I thought was like, fucking Heel, man. So why
because
did
it
you
boils
think
down
this was gonna happen? Yeah.
Because this is the WWE and character will always be first. That's why. I know
But
Valkyrie is a
but
tremendous wrestler, and I know everyone was rooting for her. She beat Becky Lynch, so I'm pretty sure
yeah.
they thought she was going to get it. But I just feel they need a dominant woman, like similar to how Roman Reigns was the dominant male. And I think since her return, she slipped down in weight, put on tremendous matches. And I just think the character work, and I just think the Queen title fits Nia right now as a heel. I honestly don't think baby faces work as the king or queen of the ring. I think you have to be a heel
Mm,
for it to work, really. Because if you're a baby face, they tried it with Zelina, didn't work. They tried it with Xavier, didn't work. You have to be a
mhm.
heel, give it some character. And I think with Nia Jax, with her stature, how big she is, just beating up everybody as the queen just fits. Now, Valkyrie is great. I just don't think it fit her character. And I think she's still young. So I think even in losing, it does nothing to her because she already garnered enough respect from everybody. But I think it's Nia's time. She had she won a belt a few times, but I think right now she's just clicking on all cylinders in the ring, especially how she won. I love the way she won, the way she sat on her. Oh my God, that looked great.
It was a
That
crazy
was a
finish.
finish.
Yeah.
That
I
was a
was
great
rooting
finish.
for Valkyrie Lyra. What is it?
Mhm.
Valkyrie. I was rooting for
Yes.
her too. Cause I'm like, man, she
Mhm.
came such a long way. She got called up from NXT. She's got the support from Becky Lynch. I'm like, they're gonna give it to Valkyrie because she's been killing it. And I was wrong. And I want to show the clip that you put this clip out like days in advance, like probably like over a week before the Queen of the Ring and the King of the Ring. And when I saw this, I was like, oh boy, the boy heel, he's gonna be very disappointed. And then you were right, man. So here, I'm gonna play this real quick.
Yo, all I'm saying is this. This woman better be my queen of the ring come Saturday night. Respectfully. Simple.
Damn,
Absolutely.
your Queen of the Ring. Damn,
Queen
like
of the
that,
ring.
huh? Like that.
Yes. She's like that now. I mean, and I think that's what the women need because honestly, the OGs and our GOATs, Charlotte and, Becky, Sasha's gone. They pretty banged up. They're not really as active. So I really think it's time to have a strong, dominant. And you could say she's a vet by now. She's no rookie. She's 40 years old. So I think if you're going to do it, now's the time. And I just think she showed, she already took the backlash from being a terrible wrestler, hurting people. And I think she got back in the good graces because I'm pretty sure right now with Triple H, they wouldn't have gave her the Queen of the Ring if she wasn't ready. And I think with the Jade Cargills and the Bianca Belairs, I think she's just the perfect dominant heel to even if she loses, she just makes the person looks better. Even when she wins, like because Valkyrie didn't lose anything from losing to Nia in this fashion. And I think
No,
that's what you need.
she came a long way. Like, especially just coming up from NXT, she still looked like really fucking good.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Nia, I didn't think that would put it on her because you're right. You know, she has been in wrestling for a long time and all this, but man, every time I watch her, I still cringe a little bit because I'm like, oh shit, be careful. You
Yeah,
know,
it
like
looks like she's so goddamn big compared to everyone else, and she has a very aggressive style. So when you watch and it does look like, God damn, are you still like even the way she won? I wonder if Valkyrie got any injury off that because they look like she just straight like Yokozuna just
yeah,
flat
she
on her.
squashed her. Yeah, she flattened her.
Yeah, but then again, but that's the beauty of wrestling. Yoko was doing it to guys. And he used to do it where he landed on his feet sometimes, and sometimes he would do it where he just landed with his ass straight on you. Like
All
it
the
went
weight
both
just
ways sometimes. Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know. I guess the wrestlers know how to do that move where they land a certain way where I guess they don't feel it or whatever. I mean, they're the professionals, they know. But I just think Nia's cool, but I don't think she's gonna be on top for long. I think she's definitely being set up to fall to someone that they want to build up. Maybe Jade
Yeah.
Cargill until she gets ready, or Bianca or someone else like that. Just
Yeah.
because,
So,
like,
so,
yeah,
so Nia Jax now she's the queen of the ring. She gets a title shot, so she can go up against Bailey or
no, who
who
she
is it?
chose? She's
She picks
choosing the heavyweight, right?
she picked someone already. Honestly, I don't
I
know.
think
I didn't even watch it this week.
yeah, I think she chose
Damn it! See who's over. Is it Liv
no,
Morgan?
no, no, no. She had to choose. She must chose Bailey because Liv is doing her
Oh,
own
she
thing.
did.
She's not gonna choose Liv. I think she chose Bailey.
Okay, so Nia
Think
Jax is going to
so.
be going over SmackDown. Um, we got Clash of the Castle coming up. I don't think anything has been announced for that pay-per-view just yet, which is next weekend on the
Right,
15th. But god damn it, man. I was afraid that they were gonna do it. I didn't think they would actually do it, but they did. But it's all good, We'll see what happens with Nia Jax. She's being used now, which is a lot better than what she was doing before.
right,
So that's always good. It's always good to see people that don't really get the time of day get the opportunity. So
right,
maybe it's Nia Jax time now,
right.
aka your queen.
My queen.
Well, cool. Let's stay on this subject. Now that we're talking about the women's division, there's another name that's been going around a lot recently in the wrestling world, and that's Tiffany Stratton. So we were talking about your acting career a little bit. And Tiffany Stratton has already announced that she has interest in going Hollywood. And it's like a common thing now in wrestling, like going
Yeah,
back all the way to Hulk Hogan did it, but
yeah.
when Hulk Hogan was doing it, he was the top of
Top
the
guy.
stars,
Yeah,
The Rock, another top guy. And
right,
then after that, we started seeing Batista do it, and like John Cena's now doing it,
right.
and everyone seems to be using WWE now as like kind of like a stepping stone
Stepping,
to
yeah.
go to Hollywood, and Liv Morgan wants to do it. I don't know if you got to see her in Chucky. Not the
Yeah, I
best
did
acting
actually
that I've seen.
one of my old TikToks I have that when Stucky tore her up. Yeah, I think it's nothing wrong with that because I don't think we actually had a successful crossover woman wrestler going to Hollywood. So I think that would be a first. So I think they're trying to, make history in that regard. But I think using WWE as a stepping stone, yes and no, because I do believe they honestly still love being wrestlers. Just like I'm pretty sure The Rock loves still being a wrestler. That's why he still comes back when he doesn't really need to. I think it's great. The difference though, like guys that you mentioned, like The Rock, Hogan, and Batista, I believe Hollywood came calling on them.
Mhm.
Maybe not Batista, but I'm pretty sure like Cena and Hogan and Rock, Hollywood gravitated to them because that was the attitude era. Cena was just everywhere with kids and everything. So I'm pretty sure they had their eyes on them. But there's nothing wrong with having dreams and wanting to go to Hollywood. I mean, Liv is an amazing looking woman. I'm pretty sure. And I'm loving her character right now. I'm loving the little tweaks. So I think she could do great in Hollywood along with Tiffany Stratton. I think she's great. I don't knock no one trying to follow their dreams, man. And no one wants to be a one-trick pony. You know, you only got one shot in this thing called life. So if you doing your thing in WWE where Hollywood calls you, why not? Why not? See what you
Yeah,
can do. Everyone done it. Stone Cold tried it, didn't quite work like that, but he done it. You still
right.
see him in those action straight to DVD films, and Randy Orton tried it, Edge tried it, Miz tried it. So it's I think it's a fun thing to do. Why not? Because wrestling is acting at the end of the day. You cutting
Mhm.
promos with these fictional characters, these fictional enemies. This is all theater, it's all movie, high production.
But
You're
is it is
rehearsing
it kind of
lines.
is it kind of fucked up for me to be like, because when I first saw this, and Tiffany Stratton, she's a great wrestler, she's a great performer. Like, even when I saw her in NXT, I was like, man, this girl, she's got something. It's only a matter of time before she gets called up. And I would watch NXT and just watch her matches and her segments because I thought she was really good. But I
Mhm.
feel like I'm not really sure how long she's been in wrestling for, but I feel like now she just got called up to the main roster and she's just getting started and she's already like, oh, I want to go to Hollywood.
Hollywood.
And it's like, I
We
don't know. I just can't help but like think
we that's just the era of these new, well, she's 25, 23. So
she's young as
um
fuck. Yeah.
yeah, she's young as fuck. So that's just this new era, when you witnessing the Logan Pauls and the Jake Pauls and the Mr. and it's just all this, they just trying to be super rich. They trying to just do everything, especially when you look at Logan Paul. Like, he's a big time YouTuber and now he's a real official
Mhm.
WWE superstar. I mean, like, validated with the fans and everyone. So I think people are just trying to conquer the world in that way. And that's just the new way these young people think. It's no longer, you find something you love to do when you're young and you just do that. Everyone wants to just try to jump into everything and just see where they fit in this world. And I think she has character though, but it's you never know. Like you said, she has when you're young, you never
Yeah.
know. An injury can happen. Wrestling isn't always guaranteed. Anything can happen where she's not wrestling anymore, not making any money. And maybe that could be something else she can have to do, to
Yeah.
keep
And
herself
then
busy and
I
just keep a passion going.
yeah, and I've heard like other people do interviews like even going back to Randy Orton when Orton first started, he was like, I don't even want to fucking wrestle. Like, I don't want to do
Right.
this. It's just a job. And I've seen other people that come into Tough Enough and they're like, okay, why do you want to do this? And they're like, I don't know, just to be on TV, you
On
know?
TV.
So, like with I've heard her say, tell her story how when she first came into the WWE and she claims that she didn't mention anyone's names, but someone that works in the WWE helped her out because of her love for wrestling. And as much as she says that, I have a hard time believing that from Liv Morgan. And I know it doesn't matter, what I think, but like when she's like, "Oh yeah, we talked about wrestling for like hours," and she can this person that helped me get in, they can tell that I really like it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
man, shut up. That's some bunch of bullshit.
Right.
You just want to be rich.
Hmm.
You just want to be. I get that vibe from her, and it's cool, but
Yeah.
just say it. Just admit it. I don't know.
Yeah, because pretty much,
So
I mean,
I guess
I
the
mean, you're
reason that I
right.
bring this,
I mean, some of them are.
my bad. I think we have like a weird timing issue for some reason. I'm like lagging or something.
Am I? How am I now? Can you hear me perfectly in real time? I see you're lagging now. Now I see you're lagging. I hope this isn't on
Yeah,
my end. A little bit.
go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, like, it's just unfortunate. I guess you can say, because I do remember when Liv Morgan got pulled over by the police and they went through her stuff and they read through her
Mhm.
diary. And her one of the things was just, buy a bunch of houses, get rich, get to Hollywood by a certain age, something like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, you know, win a championship or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just the reality, because I honestly feel they don't see. I know it's big money in wrestling, and I know it's
Hmm.
sustainable money where you can actually make a living. But with some of these young girls, they wanna live huge. So maybe like a Bret Hart, who's already rich off strictly wrestling, has a nice house and everything, is com- complicit with it. He's great
Hmm.
with it. Everyone else just want more. And in this era
Mhm.
with social media and all and everything else, I'm pretty sure a girl like Liv probably just wants to eventually, soon as her buzz or her run is up, she probably will probably just want to just start running to Hollywood or anywhere else just to stay in the spotlight.
Yeah, and it looks like it's about to happen too, because she's like you said, she's 25 years old, and it's already being reported that she's already signed to some like talent agency, like some really big
Yeah,
talent agency.
Paradigm Talent Agency. Yeah, that's a huge agency too.
Mhm.
Yeah, Paradigm. Yeah. So that's a great
So
look.
plan to see
Uh,
Tiffany Stratton. Yeah. Plan to see her somewhere in Hollywood. I can see her doing something good. Hopefully it works out for the girl, but for me, oh man, maybe it's like you said, we're living in the world of just modern,
yeah.
social media and technology and all that shit. And I don't know, it just feels like I want to see people come in that actually want to wrestle,
Wrestle.
to make the wrestling product better instead of being like, okay, I'm just gonna show up to wrestling just to be on TV and then get some attention on myself and then go make some movies or go to Hollywood or something.
It's hard. These kids up when they're growing up, looking up to people like The Rock. Like it's a certain era where it's just not the same. They don't want to have that same grit, that same grind, like Bret Hart growing up in the dungeon, just that real passion to just continue just doing straight wrestling. Everyone just wants to be a
Mhm.
star, whichever way they can. And yeah, it's really the social media stuff because that's how you get seen pretty much nowadays. So you want to just spread yourself around and as much as you can. Fame is really addictive. You'll be surprised.
Mhm.
Like you said, people who was on Tough Enough just to be on TV. Fame, clout is a hell of a drug.
Yeah. And they
People
get it and
really,
they're getting it.
yeah, yeah,
So why not, why not get some more of that?
yeah.
So all right. So now that we got our acting talk out of the way, let's get into some wrestling talk. Did you watch the first episode of Who Killed WCW on Vice?
I sure did,
Okay,
and I loved it.
good.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
So I watched it today. I had a YouTube it,
Uh huh.
and I thought it was just gonna be like one, like an hour, maybe 2 hour thing documentary, but this is like a series type thing, like a
Series,
limited
yeah.
series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we saw the first episode, and actually I'm gonna let you go first and tell me what you thought about the first episode.
Well, what I love about it is, they just refreshed a few things I don't remember because, of course, I was 13 when the NWO hit, when Scott Hall first showed up on Nitro. But those early WCW days, I forget about, and I still used to watch when I was like 10 years old, like when it was really Southern, like they were speaking about like how when Eric Bischoff first showed up, when he was working for Turner, that was refreshing to see again, and how he was the one that changed the look around because the production was low and they had no audience. So he switched to MGM Studios to bring a live audience, and that was cool. That was refreshing. That was stuff that I forgot, you know. So it was just great to see Eric's mindset even before the NWO hit. How he was really trying to bring WCW to a WWE like level. Because still to
Mhm.
this day, like I still look at WCW as not an equal, but it's on par still. Like it never died with me. Like it died literally, but it never died in spirit because it had too many stars, too many moments.
I mean, we're still
You know,
talking about it, so
we still talking about we're talking about it right now. I think it was great. I love watching what's my man oh god Kevin Sullivan. Um did The Rock produce this? He
yeah, he
had
had
to, right? Yeah, he had to. The Rock had to produce that. So
yeah.
that's good that The Rock I loved it.
It was a
Oh man.
$7 reduction with the people from Dark Side of the Ring, but it was like, what the fuck does The Rock have to do with any of this? Like, when I
Right.
first saw him on the screen, like I knew he was producing it, but I kind of forgot because
Right.
like it started off, talk Eric Bischoff started talking, Kevin Sullivan, all these people from WCW, and then out of nowhere, The Rock shows up, and it kind of just got me like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
I was
kind
just
of threw
like,
me
huh?
off a little bit. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I didn't. Maybe I haven't watched enough WCW documentaries in the past, but I really liked how it started. Kind of like you said, it kind of explained how it went from like this smaller, like Southern company,
Yeah.
how it turned from the AWA, into WCW, and
I mean,
a lot of these things I didn't know. Like I said,
right.
like growing up, I was a big WWF kid, so even though this is a topic that's been like beaten to death, there were still a lot of things in there that I learned, and it was really interesting. But one of the main things that I noticed about this was that they begged the question at first. So who killed WCW? Was it Eric Bischoff? Was it Ted Turner? Was it the talent? Was it this guy or that guy? Was someone even said Vince Russo at one point?
It was Hulk Hogan.
See, some people said Hulk Hogan. And
Because I honestly feel with the plan that Eric went with, the way the NWO ran everything was perfect. And the way they had Sting set up for that whole year as Crow Sting was
Mhm,
perfect for him to beat Hogan clean and start a nice clean slate. But the
mhm,
fact that Hogan called that meeting, it
mhm.
was like, this doesn't work for me, brother. Not today. That was
Yeah.
it, bro.
Well, they
That was
well they
literally
said
it.
that.
That was it.
Well, according to Eric Bischoff, they said that they had that meeting and they both him and Hulk Hogan felt like Sting wasn't as excited to be champion like they
Because he
thought he
thought he,
would,
because
and
he
that's
thought he
when they
would.
decided to do the fuck finish. But
Mhm.
it's like, how can you just like assume things and just change shit last minute, and just because you guys think that he wasn't as like, oh hell yeah, I can't wait to be champion, yeah, this is so cool, blah blah, we're gonna change things all of a sudden. I don't know, that part was really weird to me.
Mhm.
But the thing that I got from watching this first episode, to me, and maybe I'm wrong about this, the way that I interpreted everything, and it seems like they're leaning towards blaming Eric Bischoff. I think this documentary is going to go towards blaming Eric Bischoff more than anyone else.
I don't see- I don't care, man. Eric Bischoff's the reason WCW reached the peak that it did. So I would never blame Eric Bischoff. But on that same note, he definitely has his part in it. And I don't really think you could blame one person, but because it still trickles down to Hogan, because when it comes to Eric Bischoff and Hogan, they're like tied together because, like, in the beginning of the episode, he needed to bring a huge name just to get the eyes in on WCW. And Hogan was the one who took that shot. That's like Tony Khan. That's like Tony Khan being able to scoop Seth or
Mm-hmm.
something. Somebody that's like really kind of up there, or bringing Drew or something like that. You know what I
Roman
mean? So
Reigns. Yeah.
Roman, right? Let's say if Tony actually brought in Roman, he
Yeah.
is going to do whatever Roman says, regardless.
Right.
And I just think he fell victim to Hogan. I don't think Eric had the intent to make some of the decisions that he had to. But when you got a guy like Hogan, who has a contract that states, "I do what the hell I want,"
Yeah.
it's a lose lose, bro.
Not only that, like Eric Bischoff admitted, like when he going into WCW, he was like a sales guy. Like he didn't even know what WCW was or wasn't really into wrestling or anything. And then all of a sudden you go from that to working with the biggest star in wrestling ever, like Hulk Hogan, who has creative freedom, who has experience, who has been in the wrestling business for years. So it kind of, yeah, I mean, it's kind
And
of the
wasn't it
reason why.
Eric's? And
Yeah.
was it Eric's idea to turn Hogan heel? Was that a part of his
Um,
plan?
nah, he gave the credit to Hulk Hogan.
Okay, all right, because
Eric's
Hogan was
Eric's
realizing they was booing him. He wanted to change Hulkamania, right? Okay.
Yeah, so Eric's plan was to make Sting the third guy, and then Hulk Hogan
Oh
was like,
man. Oh my God. Sometimes that's when I really when you gotta really believe in God and like God working mysterious ways. That would have been terrible.
"You think
That could have
so?"
really made Sting. I don't think
Because
Sting
then
never had it in him to be a good heel.
we probably wouldn't have gotten the Crow Sting if things would have happened
Yeah,
that
like
way, you know.
how could he have been in the NWO? He would have been like Surfer Sting with just silver and black paint. It
Hmm.
wouldn't have worked. You know, you needed Sting to be that hero because he was the only cool wrestler that wasn't in the NWO that was
Right,
able to do it. There was nobody
and,
else that was cool.
and that was going after them and like keeping the
Mhm.
NWO in a way interesting and still relevant
Right.
because everyone and their mamas was joining the NWO at that point in time,
Because
I
they couldn't
believe.
get over. Because the NWO, this was the first time you had the cool heel, right?
Mhm.
So like now it's like, holy smokes. You know, you just getting no reaction at all. So it's like you might as well just join the hot team. And that just killed the NWO in itself. I don't understand why Eric Bischoff even okayed letting all those wrestlers get in. It
Mhm.
started getting then when they went to the Wolf Pack and everything, I was totally out of it. I was totally back to
Yeah,
WWE at the time.
yeah, and the IWC they had some pretty great reactions to the first episode of Who Killed WCW. Um People saying I just finished watching the first episode. I have to say Conan came off just incredible. So
Yeah,
Conan was like he was just
he was.
spitting facts.
He was like him and Disco was watching Raw in the back. He was like, I ain't giving
Yeah,
a fuck anymore. They was watching Diesel
yeah.
and Razor do their thing.
He's
I
like, why
would
are
have
you
been
watching that? Because their show's better than ours.
better
What
than
you
our
mean?
shit.
Yeah.
Love
Someone
Conan, man.
else said that despite the fact that he's one of the main producers, he being The Rock, I definitely understand some people not wanting to see The Rock front and center talking about this, which is true.
Right.
That kind of did seem a little
Yeah, it was
off,
out of place because he
a
was
little off to me. Yeah.
yeah, but you know that's the Rock's ego. You know, the Rock has to always be everywhere and be seen everywhere. You know, that thing about him, his ego is like I still love the Rock though, especially this new version of him, but he didn't need to
Man,
do
I
this.
got like a love or hate relationship with him. I feel like now because as a growing up, The Rock was the coolest guy. I was a
Opposite with
huge fan
me,
of The
I
Rock when
hated
I
the
was a
Rock.
kid.
I hated
Yeah,
him as a kid. I was also all the way. I always thought the Rock was corny as hell. He just started getting cool to me when he became the final boss. I was like, oh hell, like I actually like this guy.
yeah.
He's
Nah,
edgy as
not
fuck.
to me, and hopefully my wife doesn't hear that. But all the girls loved The Rock when I was growing up, and I thought that was so cool. Like, man, this guy gets all the girls. He gets all the. So when I was a kid, I was like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. But
Mm,
now it's like he he has big ego, but then again, he's a big star, the biggest fucking star ever,
right.
worth millions of dollars. So I understand why
It still looks
he
the way
is.
he looks.
Yeah, he
So
still
it's
got
just
it,
like
but now he's like he's shoving it in our faces. Like it feels
faces.
like he's shoving it down our throats, and we have to see him,
Yeah,
and not just on these documentaries, on Instagram, dude, on social media all the time,
social
dude.
media.
I feel like he's always popping up on my shit, and I don't even follow him, and it's just
Yeah.
everyone just so he's everywhere, dude. And now it's like, man, I can't. There's only so much I can take of him, you know.
That's why I was so happy when the Cody Crybaby movement happened. I mean, they really saved WrestleMania with that because boy, when he came out and announced that he was going to be main eventing against Roman, that really took every. I was like, bro, I may not even. I don't really care anymore what goes on
Like
towards WrestleMania.
boycott WrestleMania.
Yeah, it
Fuck
was really
that.
like, oh nah, oh nah. But I'm so happy we spoke up and got that changed. But like, yeah, he's so power driven and ego driven. It does come off very, very cringe at times. But like you said, he's just the biggest goddamn star. And like how Hogan was, he's that and
Yeah.
more. You know what I mean? And he know they can't fucking deny him. Even though Austin to me is bigger than him, but you know, as far as how you look at star power outside of wrestling, it's The Rock. Um,
Yeah.
I
That's
think that's
right.
the real reason why Austin didn't really show up in Mania because I just think it wouldn't look believable anymore. Old ass Austin kicking The Rock's ass now, like how it would
Yeah.
back in the day. And I think
Yeah.
he saw the business. He said, "I'm not going to come out there and like you know,
Embarrass myself.
yeah, embarrass
Yeah, everyone
myself."
said everyone said it had to do with money, but then the Undertaker showed up
But the
instead of
Undertaker,
Austin.
because he's supernatural and he's already old, it still actually worked because with Undertaker being old, he's still 6 foot fucking 10. So it's like even with the hoodie and everything, him choke slamming The Rock looked believable.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, The Rock is so fucking big. Like you saw how Austin, I mean, you saw how The Rock looked next to Cena, right? He looked like
Mm-hmm.
shit. And what'd he do to Cena? Kick his ass. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't afford to have Austin get his ass kicked by The Rock. So don't even show up. You know, even though that would have
That's a
still
good
been the
point.
loudest pop in the world, it still would have been the loudest pop if that glass broke and he would have just drove out on any type of vehicle and just came in and went crazy. It would have looked good, but I think Austin is very protective with his character, like how Undertaker was before he retired. I don't think he wants to overexpose himself. He just had a match with Austin at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to always like how Roddy Piper was like that. He would like return like every 2 years, it seemed, every other year when he was alive. He would always make a
Mm-hmm.
return. Rock also.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. So this is going to be taking place every Tuesday on Vice, the Who Killed WCW, and I'm going to be going over this. I've been
For sure.
covering it since I first heard that this was even a thing. I was like, man, they're doing this again.
Yeah.
But I'm all for it. I'm still gonna watch it, and it's been good. The first episode was really good, and I can't wait for next week.
For sure.
But I want to switch gears here a little bit because besides everything that's been going on this week with this documentary and these new announcements, this topic is something that, and I'm sure you've probably seen it because it's been talked about on TikTok for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, maybe. And
Mhm.
we got an update of what's going on with Andrade over in WWE. So some people were showing some concern about Andrade's booking in the WWE since showing up at the Royal Rumble, and especially the AEW fans. The AEW fans are having a field day with this because they're like,
Right.
well,
Mhm.
you guys wanted him over in WWE, and you
Now
know,
look at him.
yeah, exactly. Triple H was supposed to be cooking with them, and nothing. I mean, we saw him. It was announced that he had a 2 or 3 minute match. Not even. I think it was less than that. I think it was like a 1 minute match on this new thing that WWE that they've been doing on X called Speed,
Speed.
which
Yeah.
which I have not seen this. I believe this is done on Wednesdays, if I'm not
He
mistaken.
won. He beat Carl Anderson in less than a minute.
Okay.
Less than a minute.
So
Look, man.
yeah, tell me something. What is going on? Please help me understand this. What's going on with Andrade?
I tell you loud and clear what's going on. He just wanted to be with his wife,
Mm.
closer to his wife, man. I think
And getting
that's
paid
it.
for it.
and getting paid. And I still feel, as corny as he is in the WWE at the moment, having matches less than a minute long, he still is happier than when he was in AEW. Because
But I mean,
sometimes it's
people would argue and say like his last match was like it was at a pay-per-view versus fuck, I can't even
I
tell you. I
mean,
forgot who his last match was. Oh, it was versus Miro, aka Rusev.
hmm, I think
So I mean, he was involved in some type of storyline where they made Lana or CJ Perry his manager, and they were doing stuff with him over there. And I guess that's what most fans are comparing it to right now.
I just think he hasn't commanded the English language good enough to cut a good enough promo so his character could get over. Because his character is like the Black Mask from Batman. You know, that real
Hmm.
mob boss. He comes out with the clean suits. So if you coming out like that, you got to learn how to at least talk a little bit so it can match the charisma that you're trying to show. And I think that's
Hmm.
where the connection doesn't happen with him. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, in the WWE, man, it's character first, man. It's
Hmm.
even as a kid, I would, with the exception if you're watching a live pay-per-view, you would have to watch the whole matches and be invested in everything. But sometimes when I would rent the Royal Rumble or SummerSlam. I would fast forward sometimes some of the matches and just watch the climax, the entrances, the intro, and just
Hmm.
fast forward all the little bull crap and then get to the climax and then the storylines and everything, backstage segments. I was always driven by the storylines and the characters. The wrestling
Hmm.
was always just icing on a cake if it was good, but I never thought it was needed because that wasn't what grabbed me as a child. But
Hmm.
I'm not every child. Some people are fans of wrestling strictly for the wrestling. So when they see someone like Andrade, who's really good at that, and he's not getting over and he's not being pushed the way he should be, they got to understand it's strictly for character, man. Hell,
Yeah.
look at our
And
truth, bro. It's
right.
character, man.
Yeah, he's
It's
a funny
all
ass
about
dude.
character. Yeah,
And the only thing that I can think of like for Andrade, because you're right, one of the things that it's kind of holding him back is that language barrier.
yeah.
And his last manager in the WWE was Zelina Vega, which I mean, I
She's
don't
not
think
a
that was
strong
really
valet. She's not a strong
right. I didn't think that
manager.
was working for him. I don't think she's
No.
like, I don't think she can get someone like Andrade, who at the time was a badass heel, over like that. Like
Yeah.
she's just she's just not that mouthpiece. She doesn't have that delivery for a star or an athlete like Andrade. But when I think about, okay, Andrade would need a mouthpiece. It reminds me of Alberto Del Rio when he had
Um, right.
was it Ricardo?
Ricardo Rodriguez, the announcer, he was awesome. He was dope.
That
But he
worked for
wasn't
some
really like a
reason.
mouthpiece. He did the intro for him.
He did the intro. Alberto Del Rio, he cut his own promos. I think I
Promos,
mean,
and I
his
think he had a
English,
little more charisma than Andrade. He had
yeah,
more of a command than
yeah. His
Andrade.
his English was a little bit better too, I think, than
Hmm.
Andrade. But Andrade needs someone like that, and someone that's not Zelina Vega. And I think they need to find someone that can put Andrade over like that.
This
Um,
this I think that's one art that got lost with the WWE is making good managers again.
mhm.
Because right
especially
now,
for especially for like Hispanics, like a Mexican luchador like
right.
Andrade.
Shoot, it seemed like for anyone, because it seemed like right now the top guy is Paul. Outside of
Mhm.
Paul, there's really no one. I'm hearing Cody, I'm
Yeah,
hearing you're hearing about Arn Anderson supposedly
yeah.
supposed to be joining in and being Cody's manager. I want to see how that works. But just no more cool managers because managers are just like
No,
wrestlers. You have to have a certain um character to where as though when you're speaking for this wrestler, the audience has to believe you. And the only person that's like that right now that has credentials is Paul Heyman. You know,
that's
I don't
true.
think they will ever bring back Cornette, or they
No.
had a close one when they brought back the guy We the People. He was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Uh
Zeb Coulter.
yeah, Zeb Coulter. And they also the primetime players had the guy, he was decent, but he said that Kobe remark about the thing in Colorado. You never seen from him again. So you had little moments where they had people that could have grew into top managers, but they don't even do it to the former wrestlers. Like I'm surprised you don't see certain people like maybe Booker T or
They need to
just
bring back
anyone.
JBL. JBL was a
JBL, but they
dope ass
did. Didn't wasn't he
manager.
doing something with what's his name?
Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin? And I think that
Yeah.
kind of went it
That
didn't go
was
as they thought.
yeah, that no, it didn't last very long, but that was something that I was really enjoying. Like,
It
because
had
then
something.
JBL would come out to do the commentary for his matches, and JBL on
Yeah,
commentary is fucking awesome. But yeah,
yeah.
man, I just wish, like you're right. I wish we had more managers in the WWE for people like Andrade, and not just
Uh,
Andrade, and the managers that we do have. Like, who's the
I
manager
think
for the AOP? Paul Ellering, is that his name?
please don't. That's I love Paul Ellering, man, because I'm a big
But
fan of
what
the
is he?
LOD. He just looks
But what is
terrible.
he
I'm sorry.
doing? Yeah, and he
He
doesn't
looks
talk. He
terrible.
doesn't do anything. He's just
He
there.
looks like an
Like,
old man just standing there with a weird face, with his white gloves, his Hall of Fame ring on. He doesn't even wear shades half the time. I'm like, come on, at least put your shades on. You just look you don't look like the same Paul Ellering that was managing LOD. And I know
mhm.
that's what you're trying to give off here because Karrion Cross haven't connected either. He's trying his best to make his little shit work, and it's not working. But yeah, I just think, especially with the women, I think they should just train. I think Lana was the last real dope valet that was fire because she was bringing that Rocky character to life. You know, that Russian, sexy Russian. She was dope as hell for Andrade.
Mhm.
Not not Andrade.
Rusev.
Yeah, Rusev. She was dope as hell for him. We haven't had no one, and you see that was character because she damn sure wasn't really Russian. Well, I think she is Russian, but she doesn't really speak that way. So
Right.
it was all a character. She was invested in the character and the look, and it worked like a sensational Sherry who could go with the Macho King, Shawn Michaels, Mr. Perfect, and talk hella shit, and it worked. That's
Mhm.
what we need because a lot of these wrestlers can't do it. Everyone can't just do it themselves on a mic. You know, I think Pat
Yeah.
McAfee could be a great heel manager if he decides to just want to have some more fun and leave the booth. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Latch on somebody really good and just start talking. He would be great. You know,
Yeah,
so
for
I
sure.
think that's what they need. They need to have a manager class like in the performance center also, as long as with the wrestlers, so they could, you know, it's a long guard. It's gone.
Yeah.
And
So
Paul Heyman ain't gonna be here that
that's
much
the
longer.
latest. Oh, don't tell me that, man. No, he's
Not
not.
like,
He can't.
like living, huh? But you know, like he's gonna
No,
eventually
no, I'm
walk
kidding.
away.
No,
He's
no,
already
I know
like,
what you mean.
yeah, you
Nah,
know,
but I'm just saying, like, I don't want him to retire, man. I love seeing Paul Heyman on my screen.
love Paul
He's
Heyman
so
too, man.
funny. He's so entertaining. But
Passionate.
I want to see him manage someone else other than Roman or the Bloodline.
I think he does too. But you have to pick that right person because remember, they tried it before. They threw him with Curtis Axel. I think they threw him with someone else and it didn't work. So I think you can't treat Paul like a journeyman. So he has to really latch to someone that really connects, like a Braun Breaker who's kind of wilding out right now.
Yeah, they've
Or
been teasing them. Like they've been having little face offs here and there
yeah.
with
Or do
Braun
you think he's
Breaker and
just
Paul
gonna
Heyman.
be, or do you think he's just gonna be the a baby face manager for Roman when he gets back. Because at the
I
end of the
think,
day,
yeah.
Roman still can't speak like that. He still needs a mouthpiece. So even as a babyface, he still may need Paul by his side.
Yeah, I think that's a pair that has to continue when Roman Reigns comes back. Even if Roman Reigns even when he does come back as a babyface, I think
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman's going to be right there next to him.
Yeah. Unless
Yeah,
he
because
gets
I
the
mean
shit
that's
beat
where
out of him.
everything.
And
Yeah,
he
that's
just,
where I
you
mean
know,
that's where things are going right now. Yeah,
because I never
I
seen
mean,
Paul this scared. Like Paul is, they playing something up. I think something's going to eventually happen to Paul before Roman actually gets back. I think Solo may get tired of him not being the wise man that he really wants. And I
mhm.
think Paul's going to cause some sort of mistake that's going to get his ass beat. And I think Solo's definitely lying about speaking to Roman. I think that's going to also come out that he was lying about that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I think,
yeah,
SummerSlam or whatever, it's going to come full circle.
yeah. Because every time he says that, oh yeah, I spoke to Roman, it's like he like gives it the look, the little corner
Mm-hmm.
stare type thing. That's like, yeah, that's bullshit.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. Because I'm rooting for Andrade. I want to see him do more.
I would
So
too. I
so
would
these
too.
so these AEW fans could leave me alone. No, I'm kidding. But
That's
yeah, man, that's what
man, the
we had for
AEW
today.
WWE war would never end, man. It would
Never
never
ever.
end.
But yeah, man, any final thoughts on all of these things that we had to go over today? You're gonna check out the documentary next week, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yes, I sure will. Yes, I am. I definitely keep following up on that. Um, you want to talk real quick? Oh yeah. I don't know what's happening. It is Wednesday, so I guess I'll find out later on because we was going to talk a little bit about Swerve. I just wanted to say one small thing because I'm hearing people was upset that he didn't have a promo his first night as champion and he had a match
Yes.
instead. Um, Real quick, I love Swerve. I love what he was able to do with his character in a company like AEW where it's really hard to get yourself over.
Mm-hmm.
But with all that being said, he's just a transitional champion for Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
At that whatever, what's that big pay-per-view that's coming up?
All in.
Yeah, Forbidden Door, I believe, on the 30th.
Oh, that's right. They
Yeah,
are gonna yes, their
yeah.
matches at
So
Forbidden Door.
he's not beating no Will Ospreay. So I think the reason why he wasn't kicking no promos because he knows he's not going to have the belt as long. But this was AEW's Kofi Kingston, man. This was their Kofi Mania. They was able to say they had their first black champion. And I think that was just pretty much it. They don't have the faith in and he's not really that character anyway to kick real good promos like that, even though he doesn't suck. I think just him with the belt and seeing him with the
Yeah,
belt is
yeah. So this
enough
this
for the
thing,
at the moment.
yeah. So this thing that happened with Osprey when he won the championship, we like always in wrestling, whenever we crown a new champion, especially a world heavyweight champion, they always get a promo on the next televised show. That didn't
Yeah.
happen. He had a match versus Kyle Fletcher of all people, and he was asked about this, like, "Oh, were you upset about this? What happened with that?" And this is a quote that he had to say about about all of this. He said, "That's the element of being now and getting back the next show, getting back the following week. You've got to constantly grow. You grow and you get more opportunities. For me, this championship reign is always going to keep ascending, going up. Next week is going to get better and better, and basically saying that this title is just going to keep growing and growing." But I'm like, what does that have to do with the fact that you're not being presented, you're not given the attention that you deserve as a world champion?
Because he's lying. He's lying.
Yeah.
You have to just try to make sense of the bull crap that they're giving you. I'm pretty sure Swerve wanted to talk to the people as his first night as the first black AEW champion. is bull crap. It's just like Edge when he went on the podcast and said it was him who decided to come out there and talk about remember when he went on a rant when they was dissing the low crowds and everything.
After
It was
after
all
this
Tony Khan.
after the CM Punk interview, right?
Yeah, after the CM Punk interview, that was all Tony Khan, and everybody knows it. So it's like it's just PC,
Yeah, I don't think
man.
he's gonna come out. I don't think he's gonna come out and say, "Yeah, they fucked up. They should
Yeah,
have
they fucked me up,
done
man.
this."
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do the promo, but Tony ain't want me to do that shit, man. So I wasn't feeling it, so I just had to match. I'm gonna
So
say
what?
that.
So you don't think that he's gonna beat Osprey then at Forbidden Door?
I don't think so because Osprey is that. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Osprey, but I still know how huge he is on that scale, and I know the audience that AEW pushes for, and I know he's really was that top guy over there in New Japan, and he's actually the top guy really over there in AEW right now. I know he's the most talented in-ring wrestler over, even though I think he might have fell off because he had so many good matches. Like he's probably banged up a little, like how Kenny Omega is, but he's still the guy. Will Ospreay is the guy over there.
Yeah,
And I
and
don't think
man, so funny that you mentioned that. One of my boys, he was on the show earlier. Shout out to Mike Omega. He sent me a funny ass picture of Will Ospreay. I guess he's taking some time off because he's been wrestling a lot. He's had like
yeah,
30 matches in like the
right.
past like month or something. And I forgot which wrestler it was. It was some old school wrestler that he was like, "Man, I used to wrestle 30 matches in like 2 weeks. Like that's nothing." And people are like, "Oh, Will Ospreay, he's such a hard worker and he's been wrestling so much." And I'm like, man, that shit's so funny. In AEW, I guess that is a lot because I think CM Punk says something like, people want to show up to TV for like 1 week and then take 4 weeks off,
Right.
But
Yeah.
I thought that shit was so funny. But when it comes to Will Ospreay, that's going to be an interesting match versus Swerve at Forbidden Door because number one, I thought that was going to be the match that we were going to see at Forbidden. No, I'm sorry, at All In, the one that they do over at Wembley, the big show, right?
Yeah.
And then they decided to do it at Forbidden Door. But the timing of it to me seems crazy because Will Ospreay just won the international championship. And now he's getting a shot at the heavyweight championship. So Swerve, he needs to beat Will Ospreay. If Swerve really is that top guy in AEW right now, and if you want to set up Swerve versus like MJF at All In or something, the only way to really give Swerve that credibility, I guess, is he
As if
has
he
to beat
beats.
him.
Yeah,
He
he needs a
has
real
to.
huge win.
Because if he doesn't, then he's just going to be what you said. He's just going to be a transitional
He's a
champion.
champion. But Ospreay, has he won the AEW championship before?
No.
No, right?
Mm-mm.
So I think he may, I don't, unless they pull something where Swerve retains by cheating some way where Ospreay is still protected in the
They're
loss.
they're going
You
to have
know,
to do some
yeah,
gaga.
yeah. I mean, if they really put something real good together where it's like that, then I could definitely see Swerve retaining, so they could probably do a bigger match. But do you think Swerve versus MJF would be bigger than Ospreay like versus MJF? Like, who do you really see AEW really pushing forward in as their future? Do you really see Swerve being pushed out there? Do you really think this is just like to appease a certain fan base for the moment and to try to act like they got something over the WWE at the moment or something? I don't know.
I would like to see Swerve be pushed as a top guy. I don't think that's going to happen though. I think the match that everyone really wants to see, maybe they don't know it yet, is Ospreay versus MJF.
MJF.
But see, yeah. But see, this is where like again, it just goes back to the creative and the booking of AEW because MJF came back and he came back looking for Adam Cole. Adam Cole is injured.
Right.
And then you got Will Ospreay, who's the biggest star in AEW right now besides MJF, but
Mhm,
he's being managed by Don Callis, who's a heel manager,
mhm.
and Will Ospreay is like this big baby face. So
Right.
you got Swerve, who's now a baby face, but who was recently one of the worst heels ever.
Yeah.
So like when we talk about, okay, if Swerve wins, he's gonna have to cheat. There's gonna something's got to give in order to protect Will. But then it's like, if anyone is gonna cheat in that match, it's probably gonna be Will Ospreay because he has the
I'm,
heel manager.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Honestly, like this whole thing is like a mess. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I agree. I mean, I think a Hill Will Osprey could work because that could be a way for him to lose a few matches and put over a few guys and elevate them without burying him because
Hmm.
he has a name value where I think, he could take certain losses, like how Daniel Bryan, he can afford to lose. That would never take away from his legacy. Certain people just have that cachet with their name. So I think a nice little turn from Osprey would work, especially we have a fresh baby face Swerve and he's the champion now. So I think that'll work for his run, because you need good heels. Like if you're a baby face and you're the champion, you're only as good as your heels, man. Because that's why baby faces suck most of the
Hmm.
time. They don't have no good opponents, no good heels. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Well, that's the
Because
problem that I have with AEW is like sometimes I don't know who's a heel or who's a baby face. And like when I ask a simple question like, who am I supposed to root for here? And people are like, oh, well, you don't watch, or oh, you just enjoy wrestling, bro, or oh, blah blah blah.
you know
Like,
why?
okay.
Because sometimes these AEW fans, they like to push like this shit is real. And that's how they
Hmm.
try like to treat the wrestlers sometimes. Like they really fighting. Like this is
Hmm.
predetermined, man. This is all booked. This isn't like UFC, man. So I think that's how they look at certain wrestlers when they fight other wrestlers and how they judge who should win and who shouldn't. I always look at the character, the storyline, where he's at, how long he had a belt, how bad does he need the belt. I look at
Hmm.
stuff like that to determine who should win or who I think would win. I don't never look at it like, oh, this guy would kick his ass in the street. He should win. You know what I mean? That's not really how it works. That's not how you can't look at wrestling like that. You have to
Yeah.
always look at it because even the wrestling is based off their character. Even the wrestlers who don't have a good character, they think they think the wrestling could just get them over. It's just not going to cut it. So
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
that's how it is.
So we'll see what happens at Forbidden Door. Heel, man, thank you once again. It's
Thank
always a
you, brother.
pleasure to catch up with you, have you on the show. Thank you for coming back
You
and
keep calling me
keep in
back
touch,
whenever you want.
man.
I'll be here, man, for sure, man.
Hey, I'll take you up on that offer and tell the people one last time where they can find you.
Oh yeah, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram at theHEEL916. You can find me on TikTok at theHEEL916. And also, if you want to check out my movie, it's on All Black. It's called The Influencer. My name is Hassan Gilmer, HASAANGILMER. You can check me out on IMDb, check out my other credits, see other things I've done, and that's about it, man. I appreciate you, Edgar.
Dope. Check out the movie. And my name's Edgar. I'm the host of Snug Wrestling. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk soon.